What a gorgeous sight under the lights at Phoenix International Raceway.
Such an exciting race coming up tomorrow. Second, I guess, next to the last race to go in the chase for the Sprint Cup Championship. 3-point lead for Carl Edwards coming in here, and a sold-out grandstands.
Yeah, everyone here at Phoenix International Raceway excited about seeing this point battle go down to the final 2 races. Field all in line once again. They'll go 2 by 2. We get ready for the restart.
Most vulnerable time right now for these guys is on this restart. Alex Bowman had a great restart, and obviously we documented what happened to Greg Pursley on that restart. Starting up on the outside, you want to give the guy on the inside some room, but if you get a car width too high, then you get the right side tires and that speed zorb. Obviously we get enough cars going through there that'll blow that stuff off the racetrack, but right now it's pretty slick up there.
John Woods behind the steering wheel of the 38 right now, and we're hearing that the team might put Travis Milburn in that 38, so that's why we're watching to see if he makes the hard left turn onto pit road, do a driver change.
Getting ready for a restart. Lined up double file once again. Alex Bowman again chooses the inside, but now he has Daniel Suarez to his outside.
Closing in on the final 50 laps here at Phoenix, side by side. Bowman and Suarez, 1 and 2. Alex Bowman in the gas quick.
Ooh, problems.
And Suarez doesn't come up to speed, and so everyone's scattering.
Somebody made some contact with that left rear corner of Suarez's car. Suarez loses a bunch of positions.
So Daniel Suarez drops way back.
David Mayhew, I think, is the one that made contact with Suarez. A little bit of smoke from his right front fender.
Pursley now up to second. Alex Bowman holding on to the lead.
Getting a confirmation that it was David Mayhew that made contact with Suarez when he was not able to come up to speed. Watch now, the white car on your outside. You see, there's the contact from Mayhew. He does a nice job not hitting him any harder than that.
Trying to avoid, moves all the way down to the inside, and a very heads-up move by Derek Thorne in the 9 to also get out of the way.
A lot of drivers made a nice heads-up move there. That could have been a horrible situation.
Derek Thorne in the 9, a little higher line. David Mayhew in the 17 just behind him.
Hey, that's Ryan Blaney now all the way up to the 5th spot. Restarted this race in the 11th spot. Talk about Trent Owens making some adjustments. That's actually one of Trent Owens' former car. That's a former Braun Racing, which was bought by Turner Motorsports car a couple years ago. And that's what Ryan's driving right now. So Trent's very familiar with that car as Ryan takes over the 4th spot from David Mayhew.
Moving toward the front now. Sets his sights on the 9 of Derek Thorne. Up front, though, Alex Bowman has a mirror full of Greg Pursley.
Still a little bit of smoke out of that 26 car, but I'm not going to worry about it anymore. Oh, big wreck.
Big problems for the 6. That's Luis Martinez Jr. Also involved, the 50 of Dylan Presnell.
Spencer Gallagher, the 23, is involved, as well as the 29 car of Brennan Newberry.
So 4 cars.
These cars are hitting the wall.
They're hitting hard because they're going fast. And they're sliding out of control. So the yellow flag is out now, but I would not be surprised if we wouldn't see the red flag here shortly, because and there it comes out. A lot of damage on the racetrack. Ambulance gets to these drivers quickly. Take another look at what happened. Brendan Newberry in the 29 all over the back bumper of that 6.
And just ran into him and turned him into Dylan Presnell. Spencer Gallagher with nowhere to go. Not sure why the contact was initiated there.
This was 13th through 16th. Those 4 cars.
All of them with a lot of damage.
So it's the 7th caution, and the red flag has come out.
This is the previous corner back here in turn number 3 and 4. You see Martinez a little coming off turn number 4. He's right in front of the 29 of Newberry. Newberry just pushes him down into the corner, may have lost track of where he was, and causes this 4-car incident.
Yeah, Newberry didn't get in the brakes as quickly as that 6 of Luis Martinez Jr., and so he gets into the back of that race car, and that causes this pileup.
Probably Luis Martinez's last ride in the King Taco Sunrise Ford car for Bruncati Motorsports.
See Spencer Gallagher climbing out of the 23. And the driver and crew chief of the 29 have been summoned to the NASCAR hauler at the conclusion of this race. I'm sure to talk about what you were thinking going into turn 1. Red flag condition in the Casino Arizona 125 here on Speed. 4 cars involved in this most recent incident, and we're seeing a lot of speed zorb all over this racetrack now.
Yeah, it's really been an extremely rough day on equipment here in Phoenix. This is earlier today in the Nationwide Series.
We had an idea that it was going to be tough to tame this racetrack.
We essentially only got 1 lap. This is on lap number 1.
Yeah, 3/4 of a lap. The 11 of Brian Scott around.
Danica Patrick also involved, as well as Reed Sorensen.
Ricky Carmichael in the Monster Energy 34 able to get through that one. More issues though.
Reed Sorensen cutting down the right front tire after that initial first lap incident. You see a little bit of fire under the hood of that car. Here's Stephen Wallace coming off the corner, making contact with James Busher in the 30 car. That gets James in the outside wall, Steven into the inside wall. Ricky Carmichael does a nice job avoiding that in his monster Chevrolet. There's the contact.
Busher shortening up that race car. This was the first race on the reconfigured surface here at Phoenix International Raceway, and that was held just earlier today.
This is an incident. We talk about cutting the dog leg. You see how far Elliott was. Now when he gets back up on the racetrack, he pulls right in front of Jason Leffler, and Jason just gets into him a little bit. Jason said, for the life of me, I didn't want to wreck Elliott Sadler, but that causes Eric Almirola Elliott, as well as here Jeremy Clements comes along. Morgan Shepherd makes contact. There's another view of it. See how far off the racing line they're able to go. They get down in the corner, and Elliott just a little bit of a nudge from Jason Leffler causes about 5-6 cars.
The drivers were fighting for the 10th spot. Elliott Sadler, you know,
and knocks Elliott out of the championship hunt
for that championship. So Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has it pretty much wrapped up. Then right here in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West,
Brendan Newberry runs in the back of Luis Martinez as they get down into turn number 1. It also involves Dylan Presnell in the 50.
This is the 7th time. Some words exchanged and finger pointing. So emotions running high here at Phoenix International Raceway. Bob, have you caught your breath yet?
I have caught my breath, I think. But I tell you what, it's been an exciting race. But this is what we kind of expected as people really feel out this brand new racetrack. I had a chance to speak to 5-time champion Jimmy Johnson today of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. And he told me it's like putting together a puzzle, because when they first got here for their first tire test, they came out of here and they thought they were going to come back to the overall test and be so good. But when they got here, the track completely changed. And when they came back here for this weekend, it had changed again. So I think we're seeing an evolution of this newly configured racetrack here with this new surface. Nobody knows what to expect for the remainder of this race, let alone tomorrow's NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race. So right now, as this track continues to rubber in, it continues to change the characteristics of the handling of these race cars, because these guys have told me all weekend long it's gone from loose to tight to all over the place. And today in qualifying, Rick, we saw that time and time again with guys get on the edge and just get really loose. In fact, 4-time champion Jeff Gordon said, I don't know what to expect from tomorrow's race, because it's just a learning experience for everybody here. You know, it runs a little bit like the old track, but at the same time, you're always on the edge as this new asphalt kind of comes into its own here at Phoenix.
You know, Bob, you're exactly right. You know, qualifying was essentially a different racetrack for the Sprint Cup guys. Yesterday, all the practice they did, they had about 4 hours of practice. Very cool, very overcast. They came and had incredible speeds yesterday in practice. They came in here today for qualifying. The sun popped out, the racetrack warmed up, and they were about 3/4 of a second off how fast they were able to run yesterday. Just a completely different racetrack. So tomorrow, Rick, it all depends on what the weather's going to be. Yeah. If it's cool and overcast, well, then it's going to have a lot of grip. If it's going to be warm like it was this afternoon, then they're going to have their hands full.
Take a look at the time lapse here of the reconfiguration of this racetrack. That happened quick. Here's the particulars of what took place. They're right in the middle of a $100 million long-term redevelopment for this racetrack. This first phase was a $15 million repaving and reconfiguring of the racetrack. I know that you've been complaining numerous years about not having an elevator to get up here to the booth, and I think they're going to do that as part of this reconfiguration.
I'm all for that. I would contribute to that.
We had to go up, what, about 60 or 70 steps, and Bob Dillner had to run a half a mile while he was trying to get to folks. Look at all the speed orb they're having to put down on the racetrack to try to clean this mess up. The most recent caution here from Phoenix International Raceway. It's the 7th caution we've had tonight, Phil.
Yeah, and they really do a nice job cleaning this speed orb up, but there's so much of it down there. We saw a couple incidents on our most recent green flag run when Greg Pursley got a little bit loose when he got his right sides up in the speed orb, and then Jason Bowl made contact with the outside wall when he got loose in that speed orb.
Cars being taken back into the garage, and we're still under a red flag condition. Download the free Speed app for your phone. Keep speed at your fingertips and fuel your passion for racing between events with Speed on your phone. Get the latest stats, results, and news as soon as they become available.